You ever have one of those moments where you are absolutely positive you remember something a certain way, only to find out the world disagrees? What if that little glitch in your memory, that thing that thousands of other people share, wasn't a mistake at all? What if it's a sign that reality is more flexible than we think, and that maybe, just maybe, we have a say in how it's written? All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with these strange memory glitches that we call the Mandela effect. Then we'll look at why it might be more than just a simple mistake. From there, we dive into a really radical idea called the hollow conscious universe model. We'll talk about editing reality's source code, whether this whole thing could be a cosmic game, and finally, what your role as a player might be. So let's get right to it. The Mandela effect. You've probably heard of it. It's that super weird, uncanny feeling of remembering a piece of the past that, according to the history books and the internet, just doesn't exist. Okay, let me ask you something real quick. Think about that famous brand of peanut butter. In your mind right now, what's the name on the jar? Is it Jif or is it Jiffy? Just what's the first thing that pops into your head? A whole lot of people are absolutely certain they know the answer. Okay, and this is where it gets really weird. Take a look at this old newspaper ad from way back in 1969. It clearly says Jif. But I bet some of you listening have a rock-solid, vivid memory of it being Jiffy. And we're not talking about one or two people getting it wrong. We're talking about thousands, maybe millions, all sharing a memory that directly contradicts the physical evidence. So yeah, this thing actually has a name. A paranormal researcher named Fiona Broome coined it. See, she had this crystal clear memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison back in the 1980s. When she mentioned it, she was shocked to find that tons of other people remembered the exact same thing, even though he was famously released and lived for decades after that. Her experience gave a name to this bizarre, shared phenomenon. Now, look, the easy way out here is to just say, oh, it's just bad memory, humans are unreliable, but the sheer consistency of these memories across huge groups of unrelated people really makes you wonder if there isn't something much, much deeper going on. So what's the real difference here? How is this not just, misremembering stuff? Well, when one person misremembers something, it's usually random and personal. The Mandela effect is collective. It's consistent. Huge groups of people remember the exact same wrong detail. And crucially, it's often accompanied by what people call residue, little bits of physical evidence from the old reality that seem to have been left behind. So the takeaway here is that this isn't just being treated as some quirky internet thing. It's being presented as a genuine phenomenon, one that actually leaves a physical trail. And because of that, it forces us to ask some really big, fundamental questions about the nature of reality itself. All right, so if it's not just our brains messing with us, what in the world could it be? Well, this is where we get into a truly mind-bending theory called the hollow conscious universe model. Let's just call it HUM for short. So the basic idea of this model is pretty wild. It suggests that our universe isn't made of solid, dead stuff. Instead, it's more like a vast conscious projection, a hologram. In this view, consciousness isn't something that just happens inside the universe. Consciousness is the universe. And this whole projection is run by a kind of metaphysical source code. And get this source code for reality, it's thought to be built in layers, kind of like a piece of software. You've got the core logic at the bottom, which is like the laws of physics. Then there's an application layer that handles how our consciousness plugs into everything. The presentation layer is the physical world we actually see and interact with. And finally, a storage layer, basically a cosmic hard drive that records every single thing that ever happens. Okay, so if reality is code, you know what the next logical question is, right? Can someone or something edit that code? And if they can, could those edits be the real cause of the Mandela effect? And that brings us right back to this fascinating idea of residue. In this model, residue is what happens when the source code of reality gets an update, but the patch isn't 100% perfect. It leaves behind these little artifacts, actual physical evidence from the reality that just got overwritten. And you want to see what this residue might look like in the real world? Check this out. This is one single newspaper article from 2016. In the same article, a key ingredient is spelled turmeric and also turmeric. It's like a glitch in the print matrix. Two different versions of reality somehow coexisting in the same physical space. I mean, how does that even happen? So you might be wondering, well, if reality is changing, why doesn't everyone notice? The theory goes that when a change is made to the source code, the entire timeline of the universe is instantly rewritten to match. So for most people, the new reality just feels normal, like it's always been this way. It's only the people who have a strong memory of the old version that are left feeling like something is off. Which, of course, leads to the million-dollar question. If reality can be edited, why? Why would these changes happen? Are they just random bugs in the cosmic software? Or is there actually a purpose behind it all? And this is where the theory takes a really interesting turn. What if our reality isn't random at all? What if it's a construct, maybe even a kind of game that's been designed for a very specific purpose, for consciousness itself to experience things and to evolve? But hold on, when we say game, we're not talking about, a simple video game for fun. Think of it as a game in a much, much deeper sense. It's a structure for consciousness to explore, to learn new skills, to solve complex problems, and ultimately to grow. So, seen through this lens, the Mandela effect suddenly looks very different. It's not a bug. It might actually be a feature. It's a deliberately created challenge, a kind of wake-up call designed to make us stop and question the very nature of our reality, and maybe even realize that we're inside a construct. Okay, so let's follow this train of thought. If this is all some grand game, and the Mandela effect is a clue, what's our role in it all? Are we just the pieces being moved around the board? Well, according to this model, the answer is a hard no. This model suggests we're each something called a spirit of consciousness, and what that really means is you're not the character on the screen. You are the player. You are an individual, sovereign being with real power and agency to interact with and maybe even change the holographic reality around you. And honestly, this is the part that could change everything. The idea isn't just that you're playing a game. It's that you are a co-creator of it. Your consciousness is actively helping to write the code of our shared reality, from moment to moment. The Mandela effect isn't just a glitch. It's the hint, it's the clue that the game board is malleable. So it all comes down to this one pretty massive question. If this theory has even a shred of truth to it, if you really are a player with the power to influence his holographic game, what kind of reality are you going to choose to create?